The rainforest roared, rain lashed the airplane, lightning flashed blindingly bright. Panic filled the cabin, a scream, metal shrieked. Then darkness, the plane a mangled wreck. 5 souls alive, Miguel the pilot lay still. Maria sobbed, clutching her husband, Carlos. Young Luis, eyes wide with terror, clung to his sister Rosa. They were alive for now. Lost in the heart of the Venezuelan rainforest, their fight had just begun, the air thick with the smell of damp earth and fear. Survival was a distant hope in this green hell. This was no place for the weak. This was man against nature, against the odds. And they were losing. Days blurred into nights, hunger gnawed at their bellies, the jungle a labyrinth of shadows and danger. They scavenged for food, berries, insects, anything to survive. Miguel, badly injured, clung to life. Rosa, resourceful and strong, tended to him.
Carlos, we need to keep moving. We can't stay here.
Carlos, desperate, tried to keep hope alive. Luis, silent, battled unseen demons. They followed the sun, their only guide. The jungle, indifferent to their plight, pressed in. Each rustle of leaves a whispered threat, every shadow a lurking predator. They were not alone, they could feel it. Something watched from the shadows, something ancient and evil.
El Silbón, Rosa whispered, her voice trembling. The whistler. She had heard stories from her grandmother. A vengeful spirit, they said. A skeletal figure dressed in white, carrying a bag of bones. He stalked the plains, she said. A whistle, low and mournful. His calling card, a harbinger of death. They dismissed it as folklore, a child's tale. But deep down, fear took root. The jungle had a way of making you believe in things you couldn't see. It whispered secrets on the wind, secrets best left unheard.
The jungle had a way of turning hope into despair, and their hope was dwindling with each passing hour. The first whistle pierced the night, a mournful wail carried on the wind. It sent chills down their spines. They huddled closer, fear a tangible presence.
Just the wind, Carlos said, his voice strained.
But his eyes betrayed his bravado. They had heard the stories. They knew what it meant. The whistling grew closer, accompanied by the rhythmic crunch of footsteps. They froze, their breath caught in their throats. A shadow flickered between the trees, then silence. The jungle held its breath. They were being hunted by something neither human nor beast, something born of darkness and despair. Section 5, vanishing without a trace, the jungle claims its victims. Morning painted the sky with hues of false hope. Miguel, delirious with fever, cried out in pain. They were running out of time.
Then Maria vanished. One moment she was there, tending to her husband. The next, she was gone. No struggle, no cry. Only an eerie silence settled over the clearing.
They searched frantically, their calls swallowed by the dense foliage. Despair gnawed at their sanity. The jungle had claimed its first victim, but the jungle wasn't finished. It had tasted fear, and it craved more. Their every instinct screamed at them to run, to escape the nightmare. But where could they run? There was nowhere left to hide. Section 6. Face to face with fear, Luis's final stand. The nights grew colder, filled with whispers and shadows. Carlos, driven to the edge by grief and fear, ran into the darkness, chasing after the phantom whistle. He didn't return.
Rosa, her spirit broken, succumbed to the jungle's relentless assault. Fever racked her body, stealing her strength.
Luis watched, helpless. As life ebbed away from his sister, he was alone. As darkness enveloped the jungle, Luis saw him, a skeletal figure shrouded in mist, a spectral cowboy hat perched atop his skull. He stood at the edge of the clearing, his skeletal fingers drumming a haunting rhythm on his bag of bones.
El Silbón, the whistler. He had come for him.
Section 7. Lost in the wilderness, the harsh reality of the jungle. The Venezuelan jungle is unforgiving. It is a place where nature reigns supreme and humans are mere intruders. Every step is a battle against thorns, insects, and creatures hidden in the undergrowth. The jungle is alive, teeming with life that is both fascinating and deadly. It's a race against time, against the elements, against the very will to survive. The oppressive heat and humidity sap your strength, while the constant threat of predators keeps you on edge.
I had never known true fear until now. The jungle is a place where every sound, every rustle of leaves could mean danger. I had heard stories, legends whispered around campfires, tales of creatures and spirits that haunt the dense foliage. But nothing could have prepared me for the reality of El Silbón. The stories were just shadows of the true horror that lurks in the jungle. I witnessed the creature's power firsthand, watched as it picked off my companions one by one. Its presence was a constant, terrifying reminder of our vulnerability. My fear is primal, instinctive. It's a fear that grips you, paralyzes you, and makes you question your every move. It's the fear of the prey, knowing it is hunted. The jungle is a predator's domain, and we are just another part of the food chain.
Luis knew his chances of survival were slim. The jungle had claimed many before him, and it would claim many more. But he clung to the hope of seeing the sun rise again, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. In the face of overwhelming odds, the will to survive can be a powerful force. As the first light of dawn pierced through the dense canopy, Luis felt a renewed sense of determination. The jungle was harsh, but he was determined to endure, to fight and to survive. Section 8. The relentless pursuit hunted by the supernatural. The whistle followed him like a curse. It echoed through the trees, a constant reminder of the predator stalking him. It was a mind game, designed to break his spirit.
I pushed myself to keep moving, my body fueled by adrenaline and fear. I ate what little I could find, my stomach churning in protest. Sleep was a luxury I couldn't afford. I stumbled through the undergrowth, my clothes torn, my body covered in scratches. The jungle was a maze, designed to trap me, to deliver me to my pursuer.
Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig sent his heart racing. He was a hunted animal, his senses heightened, his every instinct screaming at him to run. Section 9. A glimmer of hope extinguished the cruelty of fate. He stumbled upon a river, its waters a torrent of brown, churning with relentless force. The sound of the rushing water was deafening, a constant reminder of nature's raw power. Across the river he thought he saw a light. Could it be? A flicker of hope ignited in his chest, a beacon in the overwhelming darkness. Could someone be out there? Was it possible that salvation was just within reach, waiting on the other side of this treacherous river?
Hope, once a flickering ember, flared within me. The thought of rescue, of human contact, was almost too much to bear. I plunged into the water, the current threatening to sweep me away. The coldness of the river was a shock, but I pressed on, driven by the desperate need to reach the light. I fought against the current, my lungs burning, my limbs heavy. Each stroke was a battle, each breath a victory against the river's might. I reached the other side, exhausted but alive. My body ached, but the sight of the light spurred me on. I staggered towards the light, my heart pounding in my chest. Every step was a struggle, but the promise of rescue kept me moving. But as I drew closer, my hopes were dashed against the rocks of despair. The light that had seemed so promising was nothing but a cruel illusion.
It wasn't a rescue party. There was no one there to save him, no friendly faces waiting to pull him from the brink. It was a mirage, a cruel trick of his exhausted mind. The light that had given him hope was nothing more than a figment of his imagination. He was trapped, alone in a green hell, with only death for company. The jungle closed in around him, a relentless, suffocating presence that offered no escape. Section 10. The silence after the storm. A jungle's grim embrace. The jungle is a place of profound silence, a silence that envelops you completely. A silence so deep it hums in your ears, filling the void left by the absence of human presence. It's the silence of a million living things, watching, waiting, hidden in the shadows. It is the silence of death, a reminder of the jungle's unforgiving nature. Luis never escaped the jungle. His last known location was this abandoned campsite, now overrun by nature. His fate, like that of his companions, remains a mystery, lost to the dense foliage and the passage of time. Some say he wandered into the heart of the rainforest, driven mad by grief and fear, unable to find his way back. Others say he met his end at the hands of El Silbón, the legendary figure whose eerie whistle signals doom, his bones added to the creature's grisly collection. The jungle keeps its secrets well guarded, shrouded in mist and mystery. But one thing is certain, the Venezuelan jungle is a place of both breathtaking beauty and unimaginable horror, a duality that captivates and terrifies. It is a place where the line between myth and reality blurs, where legends come to life, and where the human spirit is tested to its breaking point, pushing the boundaries of endurance and sanity.